So what is anger? Anger is a very primitive human emotion. It's something that we all have, we need to have it to survive, and it's typically an urge or a feeling to combat something that's threatening. When we have an expectation or a goal and it continues to get interfered with or blocked, then we get angry. When you explode, that power or that euphoria numbs the pain away, but it's only a short-term numbing of the pain, because in the long term, the destruction that happens is the carnage that you leave in your relationships. Leakers tend to be the passive-aggressive. They don't deal directly with conflict, and really the short-term payoff of that is that they don't have to be vulnerable with their hurt. They're afraid of that vulnerability, and so they let the anger leak out in all kinds of areas of their life without actually dealing with it directly. The long-term consequence of suppressing anger is that issues don't get dealt with. Okay, they get swept under the rug, and that can be just as damaging as explosion of anger. Anger in and of itself is not wrong. It's where it comes from and what you do with it that makes anger right or wrong. In and of itself, anger is just an emotion. It's your job to manage your anger, because if you don't take charge of it, if you keep expecting others to fix your anger, it's going to prolong your pain. Deep, diaphragmatic breathing, if you haven't heard of it, it oxygenates your bloodstream, it makes the arteries in your brain unconstrict, and it helps you to think more rationally. If you're getting to the point where you know you're going to explode, and we've all been there, take a time out, okay? There's nothing wrong with that, as long as you follow up later. So when you're feeling angry, the thing to ask yourself is, what do I feel threatened by? What am I feeling underneath this anger? Because that's how to get to the root of it. Are my expectations realistic? Am I expecting other people not to succeed so I don't feel inferior to them? Okay, that would be an unrealistic expectation. Am I expecting that other people, like colleagues at work, treat me with genuine dignity and respect? That's a realistic expectation. It doesn't always happen, but it is realistic. A basic principle of communicating your anger is to address behavior, not character. Whenever you attack character, you escalate the situation. You're not helping yourself. So focus on behavior. Understanding needs to come first before solutions, right? If I barge into a situation and say, you know what, you're a slob and you need to get your act together, right? I've just attacked character and given the solution I haven't understood. Maybe they've had a hard day. They've had a very stressful day and they haven't been able to get to cleaning the house. So understanding is important first. When you understand first and show that empathy, it creates that connection.